Alright. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. Real hot minute. Too hot of a minute, in fact. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm entering my bed. Few dreams about you. Okay, no, it's not that kind of song. This is some smooth, hopefully royalty-free jazz that I can just, like, actually vibe out to. Maybe I should... I mean... I don't know, maybe I should, like, keep this in mind for, like, anyone who's, like, just joining the stream. Dude, what the fuck? Maybe I should keep this in mind for anyone that's, like, that's just joining, but... Alright, let's check the audio. I mean... I don't know, maybe I should, like, keep this in mind for, like, anyone who's, like, just joining the stream. Okay. Okay. The audio isn't abysmal. Dude, what the fuck? What do you mean we dropped frames? We should not be dropping frames. Whatever, man. You know what? Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Alright. I'm gonna minimize. Yeah. It's been a while. Okay, hopefully. How you've been doing? There have been some things in my life that's been, you know, up and down, but generally speaking, I'll be completely honest, I could be doing better. Way better, in fact. You know, my 21st birthday passed, and, oh, I already... What was my team like in this save? I'm curious. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, damn, I think I used cheats with this save, I'm not gonna lie. Delcatty, Swellow, Hariyama, Camerupt, Swampert, and Rayquaza. Life is a roller coaster where you don't know what to do. On. Yeah. Yeah, that's the tricky part. Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna nuke this real quick as I reopen this. Alright. Did anyone, like, hear that? Because, like, I don't know. There's, like, I don't know if this is gonna dox me or not. Me when I play Paradox games, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if, I don't know if this is gonna dox me or not, but, like, around, like, the hour school's done, or school's about to begin, there's, like, a very special kid that just, like, sort of hollers, like, every time, like, he's downstairs, so I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Thoughts on the recent Genshin update in Mao Week proving herself to be the best Archon? Okay, I have actually watched that. I played that all within one day. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I feel like that a lot of people are going to give the recent update a lot of shit because it wasn't the action-heavy, like, Aura Fest that we were hoping for. I mean, okay. Even with, like, Genshin trailers, you don't really fully know what to expect. You know, it's just... I feel like Genshin trailers don't always, like, reflect Like they don't completely reflect what is going to be in the actual update, right? Because of trailer bait, right? Like with the space and time for you thing, it opens with like Lumines, like with like a backdrop of Lumine and like fire, with like a voice saying, "Oh, I knew we shouldn't have trusted those Outlanders." And like some people thought, "Oh, hey, like they're gonna be talking about like, oh, the Outland." Like people thought that those two things were related, but it turns out the voice of the person saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have trusted those Outlanders," was just like a person from Skirk's home, and like, yeah, the voice line and the imagery had nothing to do with each other. So like, basically, my point is like trailers, they can be very misleading sometimes, and I understand that people probably expected like something more hectic, but and because of that, people probably expected something more hectic and just like a lot going on. But generally speaking, I oh yeah, that's right. I need to talk to Brendan. But generally speaking, I liked the quest as it is. I'll admit I am a lore skipper. I skip lore just like how I'm skipping the dialogue in Emerald right now, but I don't know. I can appreciate the direction the Archon quest went. Just like the fact that so much of it was spent on preparation and catching up and like having all these plot threads like nicely just I don't know, wrap up nicely and tie together. Trailer bait is common that I took trailers for what it is more likely than to be there. So you're Varka. Yeah, I'm basically Varka. Uh yeah, speaking of people that skip lore, hallelujah. The night of Torchic always. The night that the banners went live, I got both Nicole and Durin. Whew! I am so happy that happened. I am beyond fucking happy that happened. Right? Because I lost my 50-50 to Nicole to Mona, which she is going to be, honestly, losing my 50-50 to Mona is not like is not bad, right? Because like with the XRI buffs, as like for the next year anniversary, like I'm definitely gonna pick Mona. Mona is actually going to be like my highest level like 5-star, which to some people might not seem like all that grand, but to someone that like only really pulls that like doesn't really that only really pulls for characters that I care about, but even that has its repercussions. I I I only like really lose like I nicknamed it Torch It. What the fuck? I only really lose 50-50s like very scarcely. But I got Nicole, and then I captured Radiance on Durin. Dude, I'm not getting Sandrone. I don't think it's safe for me to like get Sandrone. Um, honestly, with the discourse on Sandrone's design, you would have thought that like with her skirt, like you would have thought, oh hey, Sandrone's skirt is so short, you can see her ovulating or something. Like no, like it's not even like that short. Like I understand that short skirts are they're a pretty common Genshin design trope, and like a lot of people are probably I should have named him Kung Pao on second thought. Are probably like they're probably tired of seeing it, kind of like the split hair at the back and the fucking and the shoulderless dresses. But it's not. Yeah, she looks fine. She looks like a cute French tsundere maid. Yeah, but the thing is, like, the maid dresses tend to be long, so that's kind of like what people are like up in arms about. But even then, Even then, like, kimonos are meant to be long, and, like, just look at Inazuma. Just take a look at Ina freaking Zuma. Yeah. I mainly like how Maoika didn't prove to be a bitch and just hands Nikita the Traveler the Gnosis without care. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty convenient, like, for the... I mean... would it have been convenient? Okay. So, like, with how Capitano pulled up, with how, like, Capitano pulled up and, like, holy shit, okay. Okay, we're running. Bro! What the fu- Okay. Alright. Wow. That... Okay, wow. Alright. Yeah, but with the current situation, in Natlin... Not the current situation, but with the situation in Natlin at the time, I don't think she would have really given the Gnosis up that easily. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she would have. I mean, most of like what her plan was just mostly reliant on the like prophecy. Yeah, which on second thought she probably did need the Gnosis for that. Fucking stretching. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they stretched A's outfit out in that one. Yeah, like in that one cutscene, just so like just so that she can be taken more seriously. Dude, okay, does this Torchic have like a nature that like castrates its attack or something? Okay, actually no, wait, this is like before Gen 4. Yeah, this is before the physical special split. Fuck, I'm talking about so many times. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm a little unsure as to like whether or not I don't know. Maybe Maoika would have given the Gnosis like after the fact, because I do remember in the cutscene that Maoika didn't really trust Capitana at the time. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, so maybe like after everything was said and done, and like if there was like a more right, because Capitano just like chose to step down from his like conquest for the Gnosis after he lost. So maybe like you know maybe if circumstances were different, she would have given it up willingly. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I find it to be like a real point of interest that like you know the Archons are very, they seem to be like very easygoing when it not necessarily easygoing, but they seem to be okay with like giving the no C's. Like Venti didn't Venti didn't really fight for his, mostly because of like the situation and like the risk of like anyone in the church, right? Because like if they fought, right? Because if they fought, like if he tried fighting like Senor like right then and there, like the whole place would have become collateral. But even then, like he's not really heard about it. And Zhongli, like him giving the Gnosis was conditional. It was more like, okay, well, if my people can survive like without their god, then okay, maybe. Why is this mudfish getting critical hits? If they can survive without me, like being the man in charge, then I can give it to you. Nahida gave hers for knowledge. A just gave hers, and yeah. So, and like Maoika is basically saying, "Oh, hey, I would have given mine to anyone that probably would have needed it more." I like that idea. So, I just find it I find it crazy how did the Fatui really need to exert that much force just to get their hands on something? I feel like if the Fatui were to spend time just making themselves feel more Venti was surprised, Zhongli A Nuvulette gave it up with a fight, without a fight. Okay. Gave it up without a fight. Okay. And Nahida held her end of the deal while Malawika defended her. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if like the Fatui were more, I guess. I mean, like the Fatui like has like there's a reason like why they want to be like why they do the things they do, and like because there are certain benefits that comes with being perceived the way they are, but there are also certain downsides and like the consequences of it. Be careful if anything happens. Fuck, I can finally run now. Yeah. Yeah, but something that I was really hoping was that if Traveler got the Gnosis, we'd get like an unrestricted Pyro Traveler, like the constellations for the boss fight. The Fatui basically use square peg for round hole. They're not really bright, all things considered. Yeah. Something I was really hoping is that like Traveler would get their weekly boss restrictions like lifted, like from absorbing the Gnosis, Though then again, it said that he absorbed the Gnosis, not so much the power of it. So like, you know, there is that. All right. Okay, who the fuck do I actually want to catch for the team? Because like, yeah, you know, yeah, because yeah, okay. Pyro Travel. Yeah, like Pyro Traveler is cool, but like the weekly boss constellations make them it would okay, they need to be like willing to just like give Traveler certain like things. They just need to be willing to just like give Traveler like certain like nice things, honestly. Like Snezhnaya says that they're gonna give Traveler like Descender-esque gameplay, which let's hope they actually like fill their end. Let's actually hope that they do that and not just like fuck around and like limit it. Okay, I have very low expectations when it comes to the Descender-esque gameplay. Knowing that knowing that Hydra Traveler exists. Also, headcanon theory: Anesthesia viewed Bina as a Froster daughter. Too many things line up when you consider it. Okay. Interesting question, but how do you think Aether, Columbina, Ex Malwika would go, like a triple ship? Sun, moon, and stars. Oh, that I don't know. I actually kind of like that idea. I actually kind of like that idea for a ship. I'm actually waiting. I I actually hope that like lunar. I actually hope that like lunar vaporize. Yeah, lunar vaporize became a thing, so I can like use them all in a team together. Yeah. 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 So I can just use them all in a team together. Yeah, but speaking about yeah, but back to what I was saying about, I guess, traveler kits. Apparently ZZZ considered adding dating and marriage mechanics, X to doubt. Wow, that I mean, it's already like the go-to Hoyo Gunner game, so you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. You know? Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that they're being a bit too. Wow. Okay. There are a lot of critical hits this early in the game. I feel like that they're being a bit too coy with the Traveler because, like, okay, removing the restrictions that they have for the boss fight, like making the constellations for the weekly boss, um, just like a part of their base kit would not really hurt the game in any way, right? Like I've seen a tweet. I don't know how true this tweet is, but they basically said, "Oh, um, Hoyo regrets making the Traveler's kits the way they do because, oh, they can't profit off of them, and like nobody ever really appreciates them." Which Okay. I mean, what exactly is there to appreciate? I mean, okay. Like in the description of their skills and like bursts, like it has cute messages about, oh hey, this elemental skill is based off of like an observance that them and Paimon made. If you look at like the description like at the very bottom of their pyro elemental skill, like it says something like, oh, you and Paimon observed the way that the sacred flame like flickers with many colors or something along those lines. Like, yeah, like it's really cute. Like, okay, I love the fact that their elemental skill like is based off of these like cute and amazing are based off of these like cute and casual observances that they've had with Paimon. But like in terms of practicality, like look at freaking Skirk's story quests, right? And like the Hydro Traveler in there. Like they can make a good Hydro Traveler, but they just choose not to for some dumb reason. And like I feel like it's one of those things to where, okay, the Traveler basically sidelined them. Yeah, that's the thing. Traveler is so underrated. It's a shame that Fontaine Archon quests. Yeah, yeah. Like their whole arc in Fontaine is just them being like a cameraman, which popularized the idea of them like being a cameraman that just loses every fight that they're in, which is like objectively not true. I just hate like, oh my god, like he has so much more value just like as a character than just like I'm just here. Like no, like no, like no, no, no. You're not just fucking here. You're the Traveler, dude. Yeah. I wish we could swap elements as we see in the cutscenes. Yes, yes. That is something that I'm waiting for. Though, though they're gonna have to like, there has to be a certain way to balance like that out, right? Um, fuck, what was I gonna say? Right? Cause like, okay, so like, there's two problems with the whole, oh, Traveler's gonna be able to switch elements in gameplay theory. Um, there's the issue of like balancing, right? Because if you can, I mean, I guess that's sort of why like the Traveler skills are that bad to begin with. So when they eventually like do make this a canon feature, like it's not so overpowered and that like you'll be incentivized that you won't be incentivized that you wouldn't pull for other characters. But at this, oh yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. But at the same time though, if they were if Genshin were to do a feature like that, then they would have to like revamp the kits so that they would actually work together, along with like find some way to like make it so that like, oh hey, that like elemental resonance like doesn't become an issue, you know? Damn, that bird's mouth is big. Right? Because that's like, right? Because that's the cuz that's the immediate problem that like a multi-elemental traveler like presents. Just like elemental resonance, right? And also, okay, even if okay, so there's an idea that I had for how they could like go about like Traveler using multiple elements, and I saw this in like a story fight for Wuwa, but they can basically have the different units of Traveler as their own slot in a party, right? And if they generally did that, it would be so convenient because every time like you need to use a Traveler element, like a specific element, or like you'd want to use a specific element, you wouldn't have to go to a Statue of the Seven. Like each Traveler can just be like their own thing in the party, brings new problems, but new meta and fun ideas. Yeah. But even if each element were to be multi-element traveler brings new problems but new metas and fun ideas. Yeah. But even if there was going to be, which brings me to like my next idea. If like when the traveler like reconciles with their twin, the twin will join the party and they can use one of the traveler's kits, so that we technically get two traveler kits like in the same party, right? Like the traveler is Dendro and the sibling can be Pyro. But then again, like I don't like completely want that, because like knowing Genshin, they're probably going to like make that like a leveling up nightmare. uh oh, Spore Effect. That's actually a good ability. Holy fuck. Absorb. Okay. Oh shit. Took effect immediately. God damn. Yeah. And then it would be like some sort of and then like there could be like this resonance, sort of like a Hexerai, but like sibling bonding or like family strokes resonance. And like it, like, okay, the Hexerai stuff doesn't necessarily like entirely revamp their kit, obviously, but it could be something to where, yeah, this is just what I want. It could be something to where, actually, no. Ghost move might Oko them. It could be something to where, like, okay, there are enough changes in their kits to where it's more manageable, right? Because the problem with multi-elemental traveler is just that their kits just would not align with one another, right? Because obviously with like a traveler like that, you'd be playing for like elemental mastery and like taking advantage of the elemental reactions that you can set up on your own. Ralts. Oh. Oh no, if you fully evolve her, you already know, man. But like the kits don't really like work together, like, except for like a few. Like the only combination that you can feasibly make, right, is like Pyro, Electro, and Dendro, right? Like you set up the Dendro burst, or like you use the Electro like skill, like you set up the Electro skill slash burst to like change the Lotus into like faster Pookie. Okay, to like to like change the Lotus. You use the Electro skill or burst to change the Lotus into like a fast attacking state, and then you switch to the Pyro skill and infusion, and like you can set up like overloads and burns, right? Overloads and burnings like that way, right? But then you get to like Hydro, and like what the fuck can you do in like a multi-elemental traveler team with Hydro Traveler, right? Because like the ball is mad slow, right? And you get you get two nicks of like damage and like Hydro application, and that's it. Like, okay, with the hold version of the Pyro skill, you can set up like skills that can be used at a distance. Like, they'll explode with Pyro, right? So maybe if you use the hold version of the Pyro skill, and you use the hold version of the Hydro skill, then maybe like, okay, every now and then you can get off like a Vaporize, right? But then we get to stuff like Electro Traveler. I'm like, okay, this is where the idea like falls apart on its ass, because like how the fuck do you set up like Electro Charged? How the right? Like, because Electro and Hydro, like, they're pretty instantaneous, and like the Hydro skill relies on just not the Hydro Skill, like the Electro Burst relies on normal attacking. You can't normal attack like when you use the fucking Hydro Skill. So like at most you're gonna use the Hydro Burst to set off a slow moving water ball, and you get two ticks. You get like a small window of Hydro application for Electro Charged. Like if you were to like use like the Electro Burst, like you see the problem there, right? So I don't know. I feel like it would be a very fun. I feel like it would be a very fun like skill tree to really incentivize people to really not okay, it wouldn't incentivize people, right? Because we live in an age where like fucking we live in an age where, you know, you can pull a character that can basically do donuts, that basically does donuts on her enemies, and then you just instantly win, right? So Hydro Traveler was mid because Fontaine outside of Act 5 was mid. I said it. We saw how useless it was with Rear. Bro, Hydro Traveler was like, gameplay wise, was so useless they had to give her Ino's Burst. When will Lumine and Aether kiss? Hopefully soon. Hey Autumn. Like, there is one thing that they could do to just fix all of Hydro Traveler's problems, and like they make it so that the hold skill acts like Nahida's and/or Charlotte's skill, you know, and it marks the enemy with Hydro. It's like that. It is a very simple change. Like it is like that one very simple change, and like all they would have to do, and like it would make Hydro Traveler somewhat more useful, and like 100 times less abysmal to play. Oh yeah, Zigzagoon. Okay. I'm switching up. Yeah. Yeah. But from what I've seen, Cryo Traveler skill, or I guess burst, looks kind of fun. Hoyo is just greedy when it's greedy and have to unspell their and have to upsell their 5 stars at any cost. Yeah, like here's the thing. And that's the thing though, because that's why I feel like allowing Traveler to not be restricted. So how good are you on Nicole and her personality? As I have a question, a fic I'll be writing with an OC and her reaction to them. I probably can't exactly. I'm pretty scatterbrained when it comes to this sort of stuff, but oh shit, okay. The sort of vibe that I got from Nicole is that you know, she's very dependable. Though when it comes to her stories, I feel like she can get a bit full of herself. Well, not full of herself, but just like you know, she can get like very absorbed in her like lore and just like her storytelling. She's very intelligent and she's like very smart. She can be conniving, but generally speaking, she feels like she like as an angel, she's definitely like her presence is definitely a reassurance for that. You know. And I feel like that despite her losses, despite everything she's like been through, she tries to be a reassurance and like a guide to like other people. And that's my take on her character. But back to what I was saying, like Pyro Traveler. Okay, how would she react to a fallen angel who fell to corruption and takes enjoyment in torturing people and consumes living Sealies after giving their memories and intelligence back for added flavor. The fuck? Feels like just yesterday you were doing Yandere streams. I know, it's been so long. Okay. Dang. Dang, that's a hard question. Like, it can't, because I just can't, like, think at the top of my head, okay, how does Nicole react in, like, a stressful situation? I mean, okay, with her intelligence, she probably, like, tries to keep a very, like, rational and, like, calm head. But, I don't know. It's like she's the last of her species, and, like, the first time that she sees any of her species, like, after a long while, and, like, they're doing like all this like awful horrible stuff. I don't know, I feel like she would, it's like, yeah, she'd understand the severity of it, right? Because like even she knows that, like, okay, like, yeah, even though angels were created by the heavenly principles, they're gonna end up with desires of their own. But I don't, I don't fully know if, like, greed or, like, aggression is something that angels are, like, programmed against, you know? So, like, so I feel like this would somewhat be, like, uncharted territory, but just generally, like, emotionally, like, conflicting, right? All right. Hmm. What's your TLDR of why Yandere Simulator shouldn't be finished? Because of course, because Yandere Simulator is Yandere Dev's bread and butter. Um, because he's still making money, from, like, Patreon, and he finally, he doesn't have, like, a lot of supporters left. So I feel like, okay, once he stops, like, everyone is just going to, because it feels like that everyone's really just gravitating towards the Yandere Simulator, like, until it finishes. So I feel like that once he finishes the game, like, that's it. Like, everyone will just be like on their merry way, right? Like, the mods for the server are just gonna, like, move on with their lives and, like, find their next hyperfixation, and then he's just gonna be left with nothing. Yeah, but generally speaking, generally speaking, it's been so long. It's been so long since, like, the drama that I think, what if he just sells the game to someone to finish? Okay, yeah, but then he has nothing to do. He has nothing to do. It's like, yeah, like, he loses his bread and butter. It's like, yeah, like, he can't just sell the game. Like, he has to have it himself and keep it in limbo, so, he can actually, like, support himself. Hey, another ball. We're balling. The corrupted angel is basically a cardinal for a cult that represents gluttony and the other sins cardinals who represents the other sins. Find a job. He could. Yeah, I mean, that's an avenue. Yep, that's an avenue that can work. But I need my game to make it money. If I don't have Yandere Simulator, what am I gonna do? Find an actual job. Yeah. I wonder if Yondev has any, like, prior work experience. I mean, like, everyone kind of, like, knows his face and name, so I don't know how well that will. I mean, okay, well, seeing that he's still making money from Patreon, like, I think, like, I think the drama and heat, like, generally passed over enough for him to just, like, be able to go outside and, like, not have his life end up like EDP and be harassed everywhere he goes. Yeah, but back to what I was saying about the Traveler's Kid. Like, we keep straying from conversation a lot. Um I feel like it's generally like if they had if they had access to all their constellations, like in the overworld or like Spiral Abyss or anything, it would not be a significant loss to Hoyoverse because of their pyro application. Pyro Traveler, like when they have all their constellations, is basically just like Klee with a sword. Their normal attack applies pyro, their skill applies pyro, their burst applies pyro, and like they have a special charged attack that applies pyro. It's like everything about them is literally just Klee plus Klee if she had a sword. And, you know, and like they would be able to sell other pyro units because, well, an unrestricted pyro traveler wouldn't be able to melt properly. It was like, yeah, you could use reverse melts for like Sitlali. Yeah, it would be constant reverse melts for Sitlali, but because at that point, like pyro traveler would just be like a sub DPS for any hydro or cryo units that tried to melt and vape with them. But yeah, like they would not lose anything. I don't know how true it is, but I heard that in Honkai Star Rail that they make Trailblazers so like they can be used to support the upcoming character. And if that's the case, then that's that's what they could do with Traveler. Just like, you know, you don't have to like make him strong or like stand alone. Just like make him a support for like, you know. Thank you. Okay, Pookie learned Confusion. For like all the other characters that are going to be, for all the other characters that are just going to like be relevant. Because it's, I don't know, it's just not fair. I feel like slack off. And like I said earlier, I have very low expectations for this Descender like gameplay. For this the supposed Descender like gameplay we're allegedly gonna get in Snezhnaya. Because it could be anything, like ranging from like, okay, better exploration. Pookie learning Confusion means it's a trap. Psychic won't be very effective. Oh wait, it has Nikeda. Okay. It. I called the trainer an it. Yeah. I mean, it could like range from anything to like I don't know, to like Slate, like basic. Okay, Snezhnaya, like that's where. Like assuming that the Descender didn't get like. Assuming that the third Descender didn't get like, I don't know what term to use, like Bukkake, like in Celestia, Snezhnaya would have been like their final resting place. So I don't know. I hope that Traveler just gets something, just like something that will like significantly boost them in terms of power, right? Because that would be very much appreciated. All right. I think if he was more ambitious and probably more code savvy, apparently his code sucks, he could have tried to make a dev company but build. Yeah. I mean, I say this very often to like friends. I say this very often to friends that well, okay, I say this very often to myself, but like Yandere Dev is, I feel like he convinced himself that the game needs to be this 10 out of 10, like perfect. Like at some point in Yansim's development, He thought that Yansim needed to be this amazing, groundbreaking AAA game when nobody really asked for that. I did not. When the fuck did the early trainers have full restores? Oh shit, I'm actually struggling. Why didn't Yandev hire a code company to help? They fixed the code. Alright, so you're talking about the situation with Tiny Build, right? So Tiny Build did help. They did help, but basically from what he said, they basically like made it so they basically made code that he couldn't read, right? They basically wrote the game in a different coding language that he wasn't able to read, so they had to terminate the partnership. And yeah, fell to his own greed and ambition. I think it was just like more greed rather than just like ambition, right? Because I don't know. I feel like with all the eyes on the game, he eventually thought he like something in him made him think that it needed to be this big thing. And like as the years would go on, like the expectations would just sort of get higher and higher, and like he would like understand that, oh fuck, I need to make a game that can match these expectations, not realizing that the expectations were kind of created by him to begin with, and like him and his constant stalling for like good animations and assets and whatnot. Yeah, I agree that wanting the game to be perfect from it wanting prevents it from ever being finished. Sometimes you have to take what you can. Sometimes you take what you can and your experience onto the next game and make it better. Yeah, yeah, and that's sort of like why I like the Friday Night Funkin' devs, even though they have not spent, like, even though they have not like even though the game has not updated. I don't know why I said have not spent. Like even though Friday Night Funkin' has not like updated, like has not have like a main update in like I don't know, like over a year. Like they understand like, oh hey, they're learning like to make a good game, and that like not everything just falls into place overnight. And even like with the fact that Friday Night Funkin' has gotten so ambitious, they at the very least have like a team behind it, right? Like they're at the very least a company and not. Hello, hello. I kicked my mic. Hello. Okay. They at the very least understand that like, you know, mistakes are to be made and like things are to be learned, and they're not like dragging their time and saying, okay, when I get this finished, I'm gonna start this Kickstarter. Like, no, week 7 dropped, they immediately made the Kickstarter, and now they're balling. And like Yondev could have been like that too. Like, all he could have done was just, ooh, hold on. All right, sorry about that. Um, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. We've been saying a lot of, yeah, I say a lot of things because he's a masochist. Rin, do you know what Do you know what would be a good game to stream? No. Can you answer why Renova had to be wearing tight leather? I don't know. Death of horniness. I don't know. Maybe like making you horny to death is something she does. I don't know. Mixtape. Yeah, things are to be learned. Yeah. It's like Yondev could have been like that, he could have just he could have just he could have just like released the first handful of rivals because he made 1980s mode, which was a waste of time. He could have just made a handful of rivals. He could have just made the first handful of rivals without voice acting or like all that extra shit, and just released the game as is. Renova art when? Eventually. Though you know what? Renova is actually Renova is actually a character that I want to be playable. I usually don't concede to the I usually don't really care for the I want this character to be playable. Yondev could have been like Hello Games, yeah. I usually don't concede to the whole I want this character to be playable, but Renova is so... She's my favorite shade. Suns, moon, stars, sun, moon, ship art when? I don't know. Yeah. Fuck. We've been rapid firing like with all these topics and talking points. Oh my god. Fuck. No, I wanted to switch train Pookie. Pookie Bear. Ooh, do they have spore effects? You just want to climb the Hilichurl ladder with her, basically. Basically. I need to get the Hilichurl ladder marked in my world. Ooh, chat. You guys, I'm not sure how often you guys play Pokemon Realms, but bro, Pokemon Psychic Adventure, bro. I feel like I feel like neither of you get. We just switched to Nicole at this point. This is just a yapping stream. Yeah. But the only difference is that Nicole is more organized when it comes to the yap. I just simply react. Okay. I don't know. The game gives you a free cast form, but I don't want no cast form. I want Shedinja. I'm realizing that I'm probably forming a very generic Pokemon team, but you know what? I do not care. Too bad he doesn't stream anymore. Okay. So I've been thinking about it pretty extensively. Okay, well, I've been thinking about it pretty hard, and yeah, I have not been streaming a lot these past few months, or been making videos at all, or just been making videos in general. What would be funny? Scaradrone plus Abina plus Flauma, Flins and Llama, plus Varkol. Cool. I have not been streaming all that much, mostly because I've just been thinking about I guess just YouTube and just like the whole like artist thing that I've been wanting to do, right? Okay, found it. Mainly because nowadays I just find myself very unmotivated to make videos, and I can definitely tell that it's like due to burnout to an extent. Don't kill. Okay. Where do you post all your art? Usually Twitter and Newgrounds. Usually on Twitter and Newgrounds. Yeah, I've been like really focusing like on my art thing. That the YouTube thing sometimes doesn't really like appeal to me, because there are times when I make a video and I don't know, I just don't feel motivated to finish it, basically, and like I'm just Muskland, yeah, and I'm just like sitting on a video for like months after months after months, and like it's never, and like it's never, it never gets done basically. And yeah, I don't really like that. And like, you know, and like there are times where I daydream about videos that I really want to make, and yeah, and just like art that I want to make, but I don't know. I guess just thinking about both of them is, and also I'll admit I've become pretty brain rotted in terms of my like attention span with certain things, right? Nowadays I find it pretty hard to like sit down and do a lot of stuff, mostly because of like stimuli reasons. Um, yeah, but at the same time, I think like recently I saw an NSFW artist that also has a YouTube channel, and like what he does would like post, I guess, snippets of some of the artwork he makes. But like it's obviously cut, right? So you know you don't really see, so that you don't see, um, so that you don't see like more than you like really should. Synchronized, baby. Oh, that's a good ability. So that you know he doesn't get like fucking nuked by YouTube. And I don't know. Recently, I've just been thinking, okay, what if I were to make my art career and YouTube career like one and the same? And what I mean by that is just, I guess, what I mean by that is just posting like art. Hmm. And what I mean by that is just like, you know, posting art and like also posting it to YouTube. And like not really. And I guess like not torturing myself too much when it comes to the whole like art thing. For a second thought, I thought you were talking about that Zelda animator. You know the one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Um, are you putting too much work into it, or are you just not interested in, or are you just, or is the video just not interesting to you at all? I just don't feel motivated to do much of anything recently. Yeah. And I think it mostly just has like something to just do with the fact that like, you know, I've been grinding and trying to become like an artist like since just like making art into a career like since I was 18, and like with all the difficulty of like me getting a job, like with all the apparent difficulty of like me getting one fucking job that can like give me consistent hours and that, you know, doesn't ghost me in the hopes that I eventually get fired and stop working for them. um yeah, like I feel more inclined to basically get back. Oh fuck, okay, you bitch. I basically feel more inclined to get back on the grind and like actually focus. But you know, but you know, simply posting art by itself can only really get you so far, right? Like especially if you don't have like any form of like strategy behind it. And you know, I do have my YouTube, and like I could always like try, I can always like fall back on my YouTube if like things are really that dire. But I just realized you're half a decade younger than me. I'm a damn nigga, you're 30. Okay, wow. um oh wait, half a decade. Okay, no, you're 26. Fuck, I cannot do math. I cannot do math. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I turned 21 like I turned 21 like literally a week ago, 7 days ago. And yeah. And at that age, at that like at this age, I don't know. Like there are some responsibilities that, you know, I should be having, but I just don't. And I don't know, I'm going to be 26 this year. Cool. Yeah, but there are just some responsibilities that, you know, I should be having, but I just don't because, I don't know, like, I guess we just don't like live in like a good enough world to where, okay, hey, and like I guess we just don't live in a good enough world where a 25-year-old, not 25, like a 21-year-old can actually be a 21-year-old, right? Like I've been trying my ass off to get certain jobs, and you know, and it has shown like varying success, and it has shown like little success until I got this one job at a retail store. But even then, like, the retail store does not give me enough hours. They're not giving me any hours, and it sucks, basically. Like, it sucks so much that right, because obviously, like, now, at this age, like, there's a bit more pressure on me to actually, you know, get my act together and be able to, yeah, it's worse when Social Security falls apart, yeah. To get my act together and basically, like, you know, be able to move to the nest, right? Because home right now, I'm gonna be real, home right now is a bit of a nightmare. And, it's like, yeah, there are just certain things that, I would really want to get away from, but, like, like, nothing's really presenting the opportunity, and, you know, I do have the potential to, like, make it work, but I don't know, I just don't know how to utilize it, right? Because I've been consistently trying, like, since I was 11 to make YouTube a career, but then I lost interest in that, and now I want to make, Twitter check message, and now I want to make Twitter, like, a career. Not Twitter, I want to make art a career, and now, like, I don't know, I'm losing that spark. Art is super competitive. I don't think there's a magic trick to it, but generally speaking, it takes a lot of self-promotion and consistency to get yourself out there. Boomers really did screw us over now, and we're now seeing the side effects of decades in real time. The cheapest homes will ever be. This is the cheapest homes will ever be. Yeah. 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 And, like, I've been thinking of ways to, like, get my work out there, but I also don't want to effectively trivialize the whole, like, work that went into, like, getting my YouTube channel here now, right? Like, I kind of want to focus on one thing nowadays and just sort of, like, do what I want without feeling too rushed about it, but yeah. So I decided that, okay, maybe I should just, like, make more of, like, my art and YouTubing just one thing, just one whole that's just inseparable. Yeah, and as for, like, normal videos, I actually have, like, a plan for that. I kind of want to do the murder of bird things where, yeah, where Arnold takes, like, stream clips of himself, like, going over certain talking points and, like, edits those down into videos. And, yeah. That's my plan, for the future. Right. Like, if I make animatics, I post them both on, like, my Twitter and my YouTube shorts. Right, because I really want to make this work. And as for promotion, I have a plan as for how, like, I want to go about that. I have a plan as for how I want to go about getting my shorts out there. No, the economy is at an all-time low. Many people still live in their parents' house well into their mid-20s. It's a bad time for most jobs because corporate greed is really bad right now. I had an idea to start a burger business, but no capital and supplies for it. Just about every streamer does that, and you can do it as well. Yeah, I can. Basically, I just I just sort of like want to, I guess, edit like this whole journey I'm going, if that makes sense, right? Because ugh, like, it can go post mall week a booty. I wish I could. I wish I could. Yeah, but cross-platforming. Yeah, but cross-platform promotion is like actual hell. All right. I'm gonna defeat Roxanne, hopefully, if this fucking bird doesn't kill me. Post Aether and Lumine naked. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to defeat Roxanne, assuming that this Taylor doesn't fucking kill me, and then end the stream because my back is starting to hurt. Ow. It's been an hour of yap full of Genshin and shit. Though there is one more thing, like Genshin oriented, I want to yap about, and it's like the designs. So, um, a lot of people have not been liking cross-platforming, really inconsistent. Sometimes, yeah. A lot of people have like not been liking the short skirts, and like a lot of people have been saying that because we're going to Snezhnaya, that characters should be more concealed and they should wear like more heavy clothing because it's a cold region. And while I do agree with the sentiment, while I do agree with that, like you can also we love Eons on smelling salts. Uh, you can like there's also like an argument to be made about short skirts are fine. Yeah, there's also like an argument to be made about like expressionism, like with Natlin, for example. Like Natlin is the nation of like war, fire, competition, and like all this extra stuff. But you pull up to the actual nation, and you know, people are wearing like all kinds of clothing that like completely betray like the expectations of the actual nation. Um and like honestly, I think that's really good in terms of just like expressionism, in terms of just like expression, right? And like I guess cultural representation, because Varesa is based off of like like female luchadors, and I don't think you would have been able to get that sort of like I guess cultural like representation by just making her like I guess by just like grounding her clothing in practicality, but at the same time grounding your character designs in practicality really does like elevate the designs like a lot, um, right? Because like you get their deals and like you understand like okay what they actually are, right? Uh, and for Snezhnaya argument, these people don't understand that in Russia normal weather happens. Just like Malika is essentially an Aztec warrior goddess. Yeah, but she wears a yeah, but like but she's a bicycler. Yeah, but like she's a motorcycle goddess. That doesn't make much sense. But at the same time, like it's very just like who the character is. Yeah. And It doesn't always have to be like, okay, this character's this, therefore, like, they can only wear this. Like, yeah, like, I don't think good character design should necessarily be, like, grounded in reality, but at the same time, reality definitely helps. Um, it's a Chinese gacha game, so they will sexualize their characters. It's just part of it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like as a gooner, who's who's literally just going to play Pokemon Psychic Adventure like after this stream, I can, I can second that. Yeah, like gacha games only really, like gacha games have like their audiences, and that audience is often gamers and gooners. So stop talking. So stop talking and enjoy the show. Holy fuck. Okay. What? Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. She wears a sexy leather outfit. It fits her. How do you how do you feel they make Lumine bustier in her new Not Cry outfit? I didn't even notice that. I mean, I look at Lumine. I look at like Lumine a lot, and okay, okay, wow. They took out my one and only advantage, and now like my team is either like extremely weak. This bitch took out my one and only advantage, and now my team is either extremely weak to rock. Okay, okay, that that should not be possible. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Wow, okay. Nikita is pretty tanky, not gonna lie. Whoa. Okay, and it's gonna undo all my progress in like whittling him down. Dude, just take me out, please. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. Okay. Put me out of my misery. Alright. I care less for breasts and more rump. Yeah, me too. It's a game set match. Yeah. Wha Wow. I like how I'm backed into a corner with my ass getting beat. And like, okay, that's when things actually start to work out. Okay. Though Nikita has surprisingly good defense. Nikita has surprisingly good defense for this fight. All right. All right. I'm tired and I don't. Okay. I'm tired and I don't really want to push myself. How do you fare about the anime teaser? Uh all right. So I've been seeing a lot of speculations saying that Lumine is going to be the protagonist of the Genshin anime. I would very much like that as a Lumine stan, right? Because I don't know, I feel like Lumine is just very underrepresented in the like in terms of advertising. I get why, and that's mostly because like brand consistency. Um, yeah, like Aether is like the go-to poster boy for a reason, and it just helps with just consistent branding, and especially with the lore about the Abyss, the lore drop that happened like months ago about the Abyss being, or I guess stemming from fates that are often unchosen. Fates that are often unchosen. Um, it's led to the conclusion that both siblings could have been the Traveler had circumstances been different. Somehow Aether has more R34 art than Lumine. I think that's mostly because like he is mostly like he's just sort of the stand-in for a lot of the art, because he's just sort of like the guy that like gets all the play. like in the art, like this, you know, you know, the protagonist that doesn't have any eyes. I think like he fills that role in a lot of the R34 art. Yeah, but just because Lumine, um, just because Lumine isn't really utilized as much as the protagonist as Aether is, doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve representation. So I don't know. Like, as doubtful as I am, I remember when Turkey called him a twink. Oh my god. I remember when Turkey called him a twink. Dude, yeah. Yeah, Twitter can never just let Aether be a guy, huh? Yeah. I mean, yeah, just because, like, she's not the poster boy, or I guess girl, doesn't mean that she can't be represented at the very least. I feel like that if the leak about her, if the rumor about her being the anime's protagonist is true, then, yeah, it would definitely be a nice change to pace, but at the same time, it's not likely. It's not likely because, like, Aether is like the go-to poster boy, so like I just don't think that they would just like change it up like like that. And also, something I'm hoping that the Genshin anime does is improve on certain story beats, right? In ways that the game never did. Like, yeah, stay true to the original, but like, you know, give it that sort of modern Genshin flair, you know, kind of like Fontaine Archon Quest Traveler. Like, come on, like you can make him less of like a side character in his own freaking game. You can definitely do that. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Part of me, like, I kind of want the anime to be a retell. Like, I kind of want the anime to be an adaptation and do the World Quest voiced. Uh, you know, they could. What if they do like the MHA thing and like they have movie originals, but like instead of original animations, they like do movies for the World Quests, like an animated like movie for each World Quest. Like I think that would be tier. And have anime jiggle physics, yes, and have each of the characters like lactating, lactating and ovulating every other minute. That could work, yeah. Right, right. Because there's a lot of like missed potential that I feel like that the Genshin anime could like really work upon. Right. Like I don't want it to be a one-for-one anime adaptation necessarily, right? I kind of want it to be like Invincible, like yeah, um like Invincible is a retelling of the why are all the messages up for review? Like Invincible is a retelling of the comics, but there's a lot of like changes that they make to improve the storytelling. Jiggle physics from Mona and Malwika would be pretty base, not gonna lie. Veresa lactating one. Okay. This chat is like getting out of control. All right. All right. So my voice is going to die. I'm just gonna end the stream here. I hope that all of you, all two of you, had a very, very, very wonderful time watching the stream. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate like the two of you being here. And yeah, next stream when? I actually want it to be tomorrow. Not gonna lie. But yeah, don't hold your breath on that. Do not hold me to that. Look, in my entire time YouTubing, I realized that promises are not my strong suit. Have a good one, Spyro. Good night, Spyro. Good night, Autumn. Have a good night, both of you. Or day.